What's going on, everybody? Christian from Treasure Town here, and I'm super excited today. I've got a bunch of old inventory that I really just have not gotten around to processing, and it shows you, like, I wish I had, more hands on deck, or maybe a better system, but we've got tons of really neat world metals. As you can see, there's a fair amount of crown-size silver this looks like some French stuff, and, we've got some other metals. We've got, just a bunch of stuff that I really have not gotten to look through and take a closer, eye towards, and so I'm excited to do that with all of you today. And it's the sort of thing that happens in a lot of coin companies that I've seen. They just kind of get more inventory, sell a good amount of it, but there's also a lot more coming in that kind of slips through the cracks, and so that's what we're going to be unraveling today. Let's jump right in and see what we got. Now, the first thing that I'm going to recognize is that there's probably a fair amount of stuff in here that, I don't know exactly the valuation for. So, like, this is a pretty large metal. It says Heil Sieg 1914 to 16. It looks like an older style one. I don't really have a great way of knowing if this is a more modern production, but it's the General Feldmarschall von Hindenburg. So maybe it's a medal of von Hindenburg. Before he's sort of ascending to power, I feel like Hindenburg had a fair amount. And then here we see Weltkrieg, also some sort of a German medal, but I'm really interested, in understanding better when this was produced. Here it says Caritas, and I'm not sure of the significance of the, individual scene there, but then we also see, this sort of an engraving down there, which is probably the engraver's initials or something to that effect. And then over here looks like we've got an interesting Maria Anna Augusta Fernandi e Imp et Regis, so probably some sort of a medal for a queen. Around the edges not seeing much, but then on the back it says Germany et altera mihi patria, so it feels like some sort of a either German or Italian, some sort of European regnal issue. This one I'm actually quite excited about. This one looks a little bit more, of a thicker, older strike, really high relief, and it says 1857 down there. Something about King George V, and I've seen some similar kind of Swiss medals. This says George V, König von Hanover. So beautiful, beautiful relief. Take a look at how deep that strike is, and this is a really thick metal. That's one I'm very excited about. I could see this being worth $100 or more. Maybe I'm totally making numbers up and I'm really way off there, but that one seems to be, a bit older and a really, really nice item. This next one is also interesting. Let's see what it says. Deutscher Schwimmerband Verbandsfest 1923. Vereins Mehrkampf Erster Preis. So I think it's like a first prize of a swim competition. Fascinating, maybe with Poseidon as a trident in the 1920s. I wonder if it was, how significant of a competition that is, I guess. Very, very interesting. This one also appears to be a bit of a heavy item. Hopefully it's older, it's got some packaging, and it may be the opposite. This is the Lenin Socialist Revolution. This one looks like a more modern U.S. produced metal, but maybe it's produced abroad, but some Soviet lettering. That seems to be quite a modern creation. And let's see where this is from. This is from the San Diego, California Sovietsky.com, and it's a bit ridiculous, but it's kind of made to look vintage, and especially with this box, it's really a modern looking box. I don't know, maybe it was made in the 90s or 2000s. Right here, this one seems, this is a more interesting Russian coin, 1803 5 kopeck, and it's still a chunky 5 kopeck coin, but it's a slightly more modern design that I'm not as familiar with seeing, so very, very interesting. And then right here, it looks like we've got a 2 kopeck to match that. Neat, 1840, 2 kopecks. Thankfully, I can still sell this stuff on Whatnot. I can't sell any of my Nazi German coins that I bought a fair amount of so that I could flip them, and now, you know, banned from selling there, so have to figure out a different place, different avenue to run those through. But right here we've got some French items. We've got an 1875 francs, 1868, 1867. All of these are showing, well, these are showing Napoleon III, who's the nephew of the first Napoleon. That one's pretty cleaned up. As they, you know, the next stop in terms of their design would be a more neutral, you know, only showing embodiments of liberty, which it looks like there's one of in here. It looks like there's also some older styles. So here we have Louis the 18th, king in 1823, 5 francs. Very nice item. And then behind that, it says 1823, but Louis Philippe is a little later, 1831. Interesting. Also a worn coin here. This one's 1832. T, I think, is the tour mint. I'm not sure if that one is a better date at any level. Here we've got an 1849A, 5 francs, and that's the sort of, in the time that Napoleon goes, Napoleon III is, what was it? Like, not an emperor, basically. They wouldn't put him on the coins, so we have this design. It would come back after his reign, but 1849. And this one also probably going to be that same year, 1849. Minted at A. I'm almost positive again. Tell me if I'm wrong. Is the Paris Mint. After that, we've got a bunch of other. This one also seems to be another Soviet metal. Very interesting collection here. This one says 1920 to 1980. So I'm curious if this is probably American produced. I'd be surprised if it wasn't, but interesting Soviet era metal. It's really a large, chunky, you know, construction. So that's sort of interesting. And then it looks like we've got another Soviet piece right here in some sort of a wrap, and maybe that one is, but that's probably still US. Who really knows? This next one, this one says, and it says it's from the Capital Coin and Stamp Company, which I've heard of their, you know, items in the past. I don't know if they still exist, but this one's from '04. It says they paid 75 plus tax for this larger metal. It kind of reminds me of the Hanover one that I really liked, and it shows apparently Alexander II and Nicholas II on the front of it. So that one I think is another one of the better items here. Let's see what this next one is. There's still a fair bit of stuff off screen, and then all those French crowns that we've got to get into. Right here, Liga Deutsche in Deutsche Währung. 1935. Interesting. 16th of March, so that is, you know, there's a swastika, a Nazi German medal. Seems like a larger piece of history. I could see that one actually having a good bit of value. It's an interesting item, and not one I've seen. Again, the medals are so esoteric, so it's pretty challenging to know if something's actually worth a fair bit or not. Then in here, it looks like a Kopeck from 1986 that does not seem particularly valuable. It seemed to have a proof strike to it, so, and sometimes you overlook, you know, once I found a bunch of dragon rounds of Chinese lunar silver that was worth like 500 each, and I thought that it looked worthless when I first looked at it. Here we've got another sort of junky but possibly fun 50 Kopeck commemorative. That is probably not worth the shipping in terms of shipping out a larger box like that. This one, though, is really exciting. Take a look at that. That feels like an older box. In the past, I've had great results with stuff that came in boxes like this. So let's open it up, see what we have. And on first glance, it's probably not anything crazy, but La Lumière Fut. Okay, that's kind of cool. Let's see. Jenny, it's 1468, Jean Gutenberg, inventeur de l'imprimerie. So I wonder if it's like, you know, commemoration of the, you know, the printing press that struck so many Bibles. Great invention. Again, this is a video where I'll be very open to any knowledge or research that people have done or know about these items. And I'm going to release the video well ahead of when I sell this stuff, just in case there's something very rare that can kind of be recognized. This one's interesting. It's some sort of a regnal medal. Wehrdienst den Staat. Interesting. There's also this medal right here. Luitpold, Prince Regent von Bayern. Some large Bayern medal, Nuremberg. Neat. Really some big time medals here for the collectors. Ooh, 1844 Berlin Railway medal. That I could see being pretty interesting. And wow, that looks actually beautiful. That's a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of numismatic history. Take a look at that. Germania, 1844. It's got some rim dings, but I could keep this one for a while. Take a look. Such nice relief. And then on this side, it's really intricate. We see the railroad. All of this beautiful, sort of on the edge. A little scratch up there. But I am just in awe. That's a beautiful work of art. That one I think is going to go into my collection. Thrilled with it. And then we're going to follow it up immediately with another one of these older produced, unless they're all contemporarily made, but it really seems to have that sort of 1850s look in terms of the style, and it's a similar style to what I've seen in the past. It's talking about 1859. Let's see. All right, Graf Radetzky v. Raditz, Polny, Marcel, Rabe, Radecki. I wonder if this is some sort of like Austro-Hungarian medal. Beautiful. Just another sort of higher end one. And then after that, wow. Take a look at this. It says it's a Nuremberg medal. I'm a huge fan of this old. Let's see what this says. It says 1892 V. Lauer. That's 1 point. Somebody was trying to get. This says it was 15. That says 17793. But so maybe this was sold for 15 if it was like and that would make sense. Was sold when prices were much lower. Such a great detail. In terms of. I want to sort of show off the level of depth and layers to this medal. Beautiful, beautiful item. I'll have to look this one up further again later, but Ottmar von Essenveen. Great, great medal. Wow. So pretty. Those medals are always more challenging to sell because I don't really know exactly like what a retail number is, and so I don't want to overcharge people, but I also it's likely that maybe there's two of them on a market at any given time or one of them, so there's definitely a little difference in the pricing power. And then last but not least, we've got a lot of crowns, a lot of French 5 francs. I'd be a very wealthy French peasant if all of these showed up in my hand, and I wonder if there's any better dates here. At the same time, 1835 K minted in Bordeaux is what I'm going to assume. I'm going to sort of take their values with some grain of salt, but we've got an 1843 W Lille mint, so there could be some better mints. I would not be surprised in this group. That one's a Rouen 1834. Haven't seen the common A mint. There's 1834 D from Lyon. Fascinating. There's a W mint, so also the Lille mint 1844. 1843 double B's from Strasbourg. It is very nice detail, I would agree with that. 1833, also a Strasbourg mint coin. Some beautiful, wow. 1824 Q. That's a pretty item, I would say. Perpignan mint. Very interesting. Curious again to see sort of how much of a differentiator some of the mint mark supposed rarity can factor in on many of these coins. That one, 1837, A mint, our first Paris mint. Maybe it's a better date or something. And this one seems to also 1843 W. I'm curious how they're pricing, you know, the pricing strategy for a lot of this material is. But it's great to just discover this nice little collection of these crowns, 1846A. Whenever I see something that I think could work in Treasure Town, you know, be interesting coins for the buyers as well. There's 1847A, second restoration, Paris mint. That's a higher list value, so I wonder if it's related to the condition or more just the coin itself. There's 1836, 41. There's 1831W from Louis Philippe I with a slightly different. Is that a different? It looks like a different portrait. Let's compare. Haven't seen. I don't think. Well, maybe it's the same one, but no, I feel like there's enough differences in there. There's no sort of laurel leaf clearly running through. And I think that's going to bring us to the end of this. But I've definitely spent a lot on the coins in front of us. I don't exactly have like a specific value that I know that I put to work here, but definitely a good bit. And, you know, again, some incredible metals, a lot of great silver, and really thankful to be able to, you know, do this unboxing, show you guys, and keep building my coin company and coin collection, but really the coin company to best serve all of you and the collectors in the process. So some of this will be on Whatnot. I'll probably take a little while for all the metals just to see what's there, see if there's anything really good that's identified, and go from there. See you guys soon. Thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to visit our website, treasuretown.com, to stay up to date on everything going on the channel and possibly get some great deals on coins and collectibles. We look forward to seeing you on our future videos, and best wishes until then.